Big Ten Media Day yesterday. Brad Underwood and the Illinois program on full display. And the story of Illinois these last 2 years has been the turn towards European players, international prospects. Brad has seemingly reinvented this Illinois team 5 times over since he's gotten the head coaching position in Champaign. He's won a lot of games. He has clearly established that he can lead one of the premier programs in this league and do it differently on a year-to-year basis. Last year, Kaspers Yakichonis was the big name, but Will Riley, also technically an international prospect, a Canadian kid. This year, he goes back to the well with Mihailo Petrovic at point guard, with David Mirkovic at the 4 spot, Andrei Stojakovic, technically an international player as well, Big Z and Tomislav still in the fold. So he's experienced at this point. He's coached a lot of American players. He's coached a lot of international players. But if you were just observing this program silently over the last 16 months, you would come to the same conclusion that you and I have. Brad sees something with the strategy of recruiting Europeans that is a competitive advantage over every other program in the country that wants to recruit mostly American players. He's gone more all in on this experiment than any other program in the country. Well, yesterday at Media Day, he elaborated on why he's taken this turn. And he was asked, point blank, are international players easier to coach? Brad Underwood said, quote, yeah, they care more, end quote. I know we're pulling out 4 words from a longer interview. You can find the video if you want to see Brad's full thoughts on this. He does elaborate. But he goes on to explain that he does believe international players care more than American college basketball players. Are you buying what Brad Underwood is selling here?
No, no, just because I feel like I can look at this through the lens that Brad is looking through it and be like, yeah. But at the same time, even with NIL and everything going on, I do think there is a greater appreciation for college basketball where it's more prevalent. And I think that is in for American kids.
You're talking just through the college prism.
Yeah.
I just dropped
Or
the
even
prism on you.
or yeah, that's crazy. Special though. But like even like in upbringing and things like that. I just feel like there's still a little bit more of an understanding on what college basketball means, I guess, in my opinion, by players that are from the American side.
But do you think understanding college basketball is what he means by caring? Because I think you're right. If you grew up in the country where college basketball March Madness matter, you're obviously going to be like, you're going to think the experience of playing college basketball is probably special in a way that others wouldn't. But they have
Mhm.
different perspective too. Just the idea of like being on a study abroad to America and getting to play basketball is probably uniquely special to those kids. I interpret this quote to mean more like, we have prospects and players that are more serious about the work. They're serious about their basketball careers
I can see that, yeah.
than American players.
I can see that, yeah. Also, I don't know. I just think that on the flip side correlation of that, a lot of these European players, like if it doesn't work out, what do they do? Just go back overseas, go back home.
Sure.
Like I mean, the reason they're even here in the first place isn't because they care.
Right.
It's because of money
Right.
and the opportunity to be 23 and play children.
Right.
So I mean, I get it I can see it both ways. I lean the side of I think I don't look at it as international prospects care more.
Yeah, it feels like at minimum, even if Brad's experience with this has been true, this feels like a generalization about like a rather large data set where I say this all the time, isolate any group of people on the planet. There's going to be good and bad versions of those people, right? Like just because one member of a certain group of people does things or thinks a certain way, other members of that same group don't. Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Mm. That's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2-year-old to daycare. She found it easier to make girl sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that. But honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy, love his wife, love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more.
Hmm.
So if Brad's coached what? He's coached 3 international players before the season, unless I'm missing some. Like we could call Kasparis one, Tomovicic one, I guess call Will Riley one. And then this year we're adding Mirkovic to that. We're adding Zvonimir to that. We're adding Stojakovic to that. We're adding Petrovic to that. Um, if his experience with 3 guys is that they care more, that's great. It might not always remain true because the scout on Zvonimir Visic is not that he cares more about basketball. On the flip side, look at the American subset that he's coached. You're telling me Terrence Shannon didn't care to the max? Are you telling me Trent Frazier didn't care to the max? Like does I don't know, does Kasparis care more than Andre Curbelo? Probably. Does he care more than Adam Miller? Probably. Right? There's good and bad apples in every element of this. And just because Matthew Meyer was American doesn't mean that American players don't care. Just like because Kasparis was European doesn't mean all European players care. I also have a hard time with this because like I didn't watch Kasparis last year and come away being like, wow, he cares so much more than any Brad Underwood player I've ever seen.
I'm glad you got me to this point, and I feel like I'm in a great spot to speak about this as a Michigan State fan. Oh my God, I hate the word care. Oh, truly, and it ruined it for me because I love Take Care. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. I also love caring for my family and friends. I hate the word care. Oh, if these guys cared more, they would win. No, if they shot better from 3-point range, they would win. That has nothing to do with caring. Caring's like this safety net. Oh, these guys don't care. We're winning because we care.
And
No.
there's a baseline for caring. Like you have
Yes,
certain teams that don't take it serious versus teams that do.
right.
But
There is a baseline on that, but even to your point, Kasparis turned the ball over not because of caring. He turned it over because he was
right.
turning it over.
Kasparis was a competitive dude too. I'm not trying to shit on like Kasparis's competitive gene. He did care, but I'm having a hard time hearing Brad be like, yeah, American players don't care. Europeans care way more. And then the next question he was asked at Media Day was basically like, how has Kylan Boswell been as a leader? And Brad said, well, for starters, he's as competitive as any player I've ever coached. He hates losing more than any player I've ever coached. He's just like Io and Terrence and Trent in that regard. So the 4 players you've coached that care the most are all American. One answer after you're telling us that Europeans care more. Like it's one of the many things from this offseason that when put together don't add up from what Brad Underwood is selling. It feels like he's just throwing shit at the wall at this point. And I get that we have to like make this a big story that there's a reason why he's gone all in on European players. But I would also add, if I were an Illinois fan, I don't think I'd want my coach to say this out loud, even if he believes it, because I want to get the next Chicago-based five-star American recruit.
Yeah, that was my next point on this too. Like this is you still recruiting American kids.
He's recruiting three stars,
Well, those guys surely care.
and they do. But yeah, it's a baffling choice to take a very hard stance on this across the board, you know?
Yeah.
Who do you think cares the most on Illinois this year? Isn't it Kylan?
I think
Maybe
yeah,
not
probably
Kylan, actually.
Kylan, maybe AJ Red.
Ben.
Ben cares.
Ben definitely cares.
Actually, no, Ben doesn't care.
Ben doesn't care?
No, because he's good.
I think Ben cares.
He's good with him.
Who cares the least on this team?
Ooh.
I think it's Vonamir, right?
I think it's
Is it
one of the Avistis brothers. It's probably Zvonimir.
actually I bet you Merkovich cares the most. And I
Yeah,
bet
that's a good
you
call.
Zvonimir cares the least.
Yeah, facts. Yep.
But that means we're net even on the European care scale.
We'll figure it out by the end of the year.